What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today, we have a very special guest. We have husband, father, a man of God, a follower of Christ, entrepreneur, just recently sold his business.
Woo!
Man, let's go. Come on. And head coach of Pacifica. Is it Pacifica Christian? Yeah,
Yes,
I said that right, in Santa Monica, not the one in Orange County. We ain't talking
Right,
about that. Hey,
right.
Barracoff, I love you, though. Mr. Steve Hodge.
Yeah.
Long time coming, my brother. Hey.
I know.
Long time
We
coming.
got a story to tell. It's a really interesting story to tell.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man. So, man, we love to start
Thank
this
you for
show
having
off.
me, man.
No, thank you for having you.
This is cool.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Thank you.
This is really nice.
The creative genius of Karina Isabel.
Good job, Karina. Thoughtful. Very thoughtful. Yeah.
Yes.
Very thoughtful.
And we'd like to welcome our assistant producer in here, Bella. Welcome. Hey, we have an open set. Feel free, you know.
You don't got the board. You don't have the board with the buttons.
Not yet. That might be a funny ad. We start this off with the Wall of Hoop movies.
Well done.
Favorite
well
hoop
done.
movie of all time.
I checked you. I checked you.
Yeah, you was trying to
I
get me. You
checked
talking
you
about
and-
where's 6 Men at?
Yeah,
Where's
I
Love
see
and
6
Basketball?
Men.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well done.
We cover most of the bases.
Yeah.
There's probably 2 movies you haven't seen on this wall.
So sorry, sir. There are not.
You've seen all these. You saw you seen Cornbread earlier. All right,
They killed cornbread.
Cool, just had to get that. And then the Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
I'm from the East Coast, man. My father lives by that movie. Stop it right now. Dr. J is his GOAT. Yeah,
All right, so
I am
your
a
favorite hoop
basketball
movie
nerd.
Favorite hoop movie of all time and why?
Above the rim, all right? Although there are some issues with Above the Rim, with it being a New York-based movie with a West Coast soundtrack.
Tupac is from New York-ish.
Ish. And then the workouts in the morning. If you know anything about the East Coast,
Too cold.
you ain't working out outside in the morning.
Hey, that's what encouraged me to do it though, low key.
Oh, let the motion of your body be the.
Yeah.
Yep. I was. Yeah. But no, it was.
And then when number 52 passed to himself for the dunk. We ain't gonna talk about the cinematography.
Rebounded too. Rebound outlet.
He got a rebound assist and 2 points by himself in the movie. Best part of the movie.
Only guy to ever do. And how many points did
Shep
Chef have? Nobody can tell me how many points Chef had.
At least 70.
At least 70 in
That's
3
how much-
minutes.
3 minutes. Perfect movie.
Old Chef. Big screen TV, marble floors. Mama ain't have to work.
Oh, so you've seen this movie a few times?
Nah, just know the whole script.
Got it. Love
Yeah.
it, man. Love it, man.
I'm a nerd. Yeah, this is what I do.
When did you fall in love with basketball?
I fell in love with basketball. Woo, Todd, I might have been 1988, so I was 8 years old. That was the year that Michael Jordan did everything except win a championship.
Right.
So that was, the Jordan 3s. That was the 88 dunk contest. That was a dunk from the foul line. That was Defensive Player of the Year. That was MVP, I believe. Was that MVP?
I think that was Magic.
Defense. All right. Okay.
No, he got Defensive Player of the Year, and then he was the scoring title. Yep.
Scoring champ. Dunk contest winner with that Dominique contest. All-Star MVP.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you killed it.
Yeah. That
Great-
was
great year.
88.
And so your favorite player is Jordan?
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, born February 17th,
He just had a
1963.
birthday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Him. Don't laugh, Karina. It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
Celebrate his birthday.
Put a pair of sneakers on. You know, dunked over my wife a few times in the house.
I love it. Love it.
And a little social media post. That's it.
So you're from the East Coast. Where are you from?
I am from Connecticut. Not born in Connecticut, but by way of Reading, Pennsylvania, which is about 45, 50 minutes from Philly. That's where my family's from. My father moved back to Connecticut, and I moved with him.
Got it.
So that's where I got my chops.
That's where you got your chops in. So growing up on the East Coast with basketball, who put the ball in your hand, and how did you start to get better at basketball?
Is who took the ball out of my hand. So that is my cousin Craig, Danny, Tony, my uncle Rob. Basketball was the first language in the family. My grandparents at the time were ambassadors for, or overseers for a children's home, which seemed like some of the worst of the worst. But that's what they did. So we had access to a gym and an arcade and all of that stuff. So the mandate was that you went to Sunday school. You had to go to church, but you had to go to Sunday school. You went to Sunday school and you were allowed to go to the chili home. And the chili home was where it popped off. So that's where I got a chance to see all of my bigger cousins who were all better and flat out, like Danny was a distributor, Billy was fearless, Tony was super athletic, Craig did everything. My Uncle Robert was the first big guard. So big guard he was the first big guard I seen. 6'4", can do it all, rebound, distribute, play defense. And then you had me, who was god awful. They used to call me Luke Skywalker, and it wasn't because I could dribble and jump. It was because I got the ball, and if I seen you coming, I just ran. You gotta dribble the ball, Steve. Dribble the ball. So I was terrible at first, but once I moved to Connecticut, it got me. It grabbed me, and I had an uncle, God rest his soul, who let me borrow his '88 All-Star Saturday VHS. And I watched it, rewound it. Watched it, rewound it. Craig Hodges, Larry Bird, the old guys game. They used to have the senior game, whatever they called it, all the way to the dunk contest and to the All-Star Saturday, Isaiah, Mike, and that's when it happened. This is all I want to do, ever. Ever.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And then so growing up in the East Coast, Connecticut, was there AAU? What was the Park League? Where was the development taking place, and how did you see yourself, move up that ladder?
Well, I think that I represent a very unique space that is no longer a thing. I didn't play a day of AAU basketball. I didn't play a day of club basketball. I might have played some travel ball in 6th and 7th grade, but we were at the park. And at the park, Waverly, shout out to Waverly, at the park, in different places, because I played anywhere. Driveway, the park, but specifically Waverly Park, there were so many textures of game. That doesn't happen now. So if you get there, sun's going down, East Coast, it's muggy. You know what I mean? We get that muggy, that Puerto Rican heat,
Humidity,
that humidity. So sun goes down somewhere around 5 o'clock, 5:30. You know what I mean? So you want to get out there first. Now there's there's 2 courts, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. And you get there. So if you're early, you're going to play 1-on-1, right? And then dudes start to show up, 2-on-2, maybe 3-on-3, right? And then somebody got to go or something happens. A girl walks by, Somebody takes their attention. And now you're playing 21.
Yep.
Right? And next thing you know, you got enough. Let's get some runs. Get up and down. Now you're playing 5-on-5. You're getting all of those textures.
Yeah.
All of those layers of development. For me, playing with the Dope Boys was a different game. The Dope Boys were a little older and quicker than me, right? But they also didn't take any nonsense. So you shoot the ball too much, you're gonna find out about it. You gotta get slapped upside your head, you gotta get kicked, punched, whatever it is. But that teaches you a layer of the game. Okay, I wanna shoot it, but let me go screen first. Screen 2 times. Got a layup and then pass it to him. He was cool with that. He wanna shoot everything. Let me go rebound this game, because I just wanna be on the court. I just wanna play.
Yeah.
So I think that's what took me, and that's what propelled me. I didn't have trainers. I'm 45 in April. So we were the age of no trainers. And
You look younger than me, but keep going. And I feel like I look young.
You look good, man. Come
Thanks
on.
for that. No, yeah.
But we didn't have any trainers. There were no open gyms. If there were, we were all there, but they weren't consistent.
Right.
Where we were coming up, finally we got to the YMCA. That became another proving ground. And none of us could afford to do it. So we would sneak onto the elevator up where the halfway houses were and the little, whatever they had up there, shoot through the offices and then dump down into the gym. That's how we were getting into it. We were doing anything to play the game. And that's when I got a chance to learn how the older dudes were playing. And older dudes at the time, Hartford, Connecticut. That's Marcus Camby.
Oh, yeah.
That's some of those guys that were in there. Hartford High was a powerhouse at the time. So they were running like he got game. They would show up with their whole 5. Point guard, Marcus at the 5, 2 guards out there, and they would run the floor. And you're just trying to get in there. So of course you're not good enough yet. But there's another gym, a little aux gym, tiny. That's where we would go. Work on our game over there, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. And if you were lucky enough, they needed one more guy. And they would look. And you'd be, choose me, pick me. And eventually it was Steve, let's go.
Got your opportunity.
Got over there so I can pass the ball and never shoot it because I was going to get cussed out. So that was a piece of it. And then playing at my cousins, at my friends, stopping at Keeney Park on the way home to play. Sometimes they had the lower rims, so we would dunk on those. And don't sleep on those lower rims. That helps your explosiveness.
That's how I learned to dunk.
Yeah.
I used to dunk just because I used to lower the rim and play 21 dunk. Man,
You develop those muscles.
Man, I was dunking at 5'6", 5'7", because I've been dunking my whole life.
Oh, you're a leaper.
Oh no, I had bounce.
Oh, you're a bouncy.
43 inch vertical at my peak.
Oh, that's like my cousin Tony.
That's my boy, Steve Campbell.
Yeah.
He used to be the performance trainer back at 360. Yeah, so when college, I probably had like a 39. I worked out with Steve when I moved out here, and I was jumping so high, I would be afraid to land. So I literally stopped working. I'm like, I'm not a pro. There's no reason for me to jump this high. Now I'm looking at it too. I could have been a pro dunker before the Instagrams and stuff.
Right.
But, nah, man.
How's your knees?
My knees are good, man. I'm in yoga now. I take care of these joints now. So
Most of the
they've
time.
had some times, but I've always taken care of them. There's no cartilage in this one, but I don't feel that. I don't know.
Give it some time, or not. Maybe.
No, man, that's what I promise the yoga, the stretching, and like taking care of my body, drinking water, and all those kind of things, man. It really helps. It really helps to sleep, and so I got up and dunk. I played against the kids last week at Core, and I caught a body.
You mentioned Core. I'm gonna leave it alone. I know you told me not to.
No.
We
We could talk about it now. We just can't talk about it at the end. Go ahead. Yeah. What's up?
I'm just messing with you. I want to see where he's going to go. Just want to see where he's going to go.
No, I have to dunk on a kid every year.
You have to dunk on a kid every year?
Yeah, this year was Sean.
Appreciate that.
Hey, no. Yeah, this year was Sean.
You said his name?
Oh, I'm calling. I didn't gonna say his last
Sean,
name.
he said your name, Sean.
Sean, you know who you are.
Said your name.
Caught that body.
It exists.
And because before the game, he was like, "Coach, you can't." He says something like, "You can't guard me." I was like, "I'm gonna dunk on you," and I actually caught him. So it was even. Yeah, I can still do that to kids. So you need to get out of my way.
I can still do that.
Yeah, I can still do that. I old person, I get in the post now. But anyways, what I see, man, like I love how you said the different textures of basketball, right? We had Adam Harrington, who was KD's trainer and longtime trainer, played, had a cup of tea in the NBA and all that, but he spoke about development overseas. That's where he got his philosophy of development. He worked with Dirk Nowitzki's shooting trainer, and he said, out there, you have one-on-one, you have your individual skill development. Then you have small group training where you're breaking the court down. And then you have 5-on-5 play. And that's what you were speaking to, is just the different layers that these kids don't get because all they have is their trainer in the gym who's teaching them one-on-one moves, which only 1% of players actually do at the highest levels. And then they have their team ball where if they're playing AAU, it's just most of the time it's bad basketball because everybody's out there trying to get a highlight tape and do these moves that they worked on that's not real basketball. And man, I tell the kids at Core, like, y'all can't play one-on-one, y'all can play 21.
Right.
Switch it up. Go get double team. Go see what it's like to actually have people in the paint and figure out how to play against different sizes and how
you got to
people play.
beat one person and then there's somebody in the paint. So that leads to that.
Yep, a lot of 3-on-3 now. Like all those things help develop you. I hope parents are able to get out of this mindset that, you got to go play 75 games on the weekend and train with your trainer is the route to being developed. They don't understand the top kids in this game is most of the time, it's because of how tall they are and how athletic they are. And then now they can become skilled. But that's God-given stuff. That's not something that you can develop. I don't know. They might have some pills or some shots or something. I don't know. But besides that,
that's the truth, though.
It's like if you want to get to that next level in the basketball court, man, you gotta learn how to play the game in every kind of way.
I don't think that's priority anymore.
Right.
I think it's long been gone. I think it's long been over. Just the idea of developing the full game. you know. And I think what people are missing as well is an overall skill set commands more attention than the ability to do one thing. It just does. You know what I mean? You know, I don't play the whole who's better, LeBron. Well, I know Mike is my guy. But the reason
better.
LeBron is so good is because LeBron is, like you just said, his father's probably a bear. You know what I mean? I think his father's a bear, right? But he's 6'9", 250, 260. Okay, get rid of that. Even though that's a big thing to get rid of, right? But then he's a fantastic passer. He's a dancer. I call people with good footwork dancer. He's got dancer's feet, right? Early in the game, his lateral movement was out of this world, right? Which speaks to his athleticism. And then tough. You can't speak to the toughness of the guy. And then his jumper got better as he went on. Now, years ago, they had this, I think they do it every year, but they asked the owners who they would start their franchise with, or maybe they framed it, or who makes it the toughest on them? Who makes their world the toughest? And they all answered LeBron. And I think one of the smart ones, it was probably Danny Ainge. It said anonymous. It was probably Danny Ainge or Popovich. You can game plan. You can watch film. You can take away tendencies. You can take away habits. You can double him and get the ball out of his hands. Different ways. Are you going to double, if he catches in the post, do you double from the baseline, or do you drop down? All these different things. But all bets are off when a 6'9" athletic genius as well, genius guy, grabs a defensive rebound and turns and goes down the floor. You can't game plan for that.
Right.
There is no getting the ball out of his hands because he's coming at you full speed.
Yes.
And not just to score. No. He can see this, he can see that. And I told someone, this is a real story, Todd. This is a real story. As you know, Karan Butler is one of my guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of my, I love that guy. His wife and my wife were college roommates at UConn, right? So we've known each other for a long time, before the pro career. But when I first moved here, we were living in North Hollywood. And broke as a joke, working an after-school program at Grant High School as the Frost coach, getting the Gilbert Arenas Fund money. That was how I got paid, through the Gilbert Arenas Fund.
Thanks, Gil.
Thanks, Gil. Thank you, Gil. Via Tariq and Levine. And my wife calls me, hey, Clippers tickets if you want them. Game is at 7. I know you're done by like 5. I said, I'll figure it out. She said, but I got to pick baby girl up. So I said, cool, I'll take the train. You can. Yep. So I hopped on the train. Andrea, thank you. Left me some tickets, good tickets too, right behind the bench. I got about $18 in my pocket. You know what I mean? Enough to get some food and enjoy a beautiful game. But LeBron was in Miami at the time. He's in Miami. So it's the Miami Heat game. I had no idea who was playing. I didn't care. I love basketball. I'll go watch Denver. I don't care. It could be Charlotte, Utah. It's a basketball game. I'm there. So LeBron's walking this way. Remember, LeBron from Miami Heat is walking this way as Blake Griffin is taking the ball out of bounds. He's towering almost over Blake Griffin, who was a power forward at the time. Blew my mind. I'm like, wait, how big is this man? Now, I'm no sucker. I ain't no punk, right? But as LeBron's walking to the sideline, I know he's not looking at me. There's thousands of people. But I thought he looked at me, and just his countenance, I cowered. Like, I couldn't believe that there was a human that could move. And I said to my wife that night, if LeBron was a greedy, I don't care about winning guy, he can get a shot every single time. Yep. And if he gets stopped, he can just throw it off the backboard and go get it and go get a layup. If he wanted to, that man could abandon ship, abandon all the offensive plays and get a shot every time. That's when I knew, I'm like, this is a whole different world. Yeah. This is different. So when I think about LeBron and I think about like that aspect of his game, just the unselfish, boom, boom, using my gift, I think it's another reason he's sustained such a long career. Right. He's not walking into a game, like Kobe and Mike, kill, 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 murder, murder, murder. Yep. Just have some fun, boom, 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 get some wins. Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah,
No,
that's my LeBron story. I couldn't believe that he was that big. Shoulders.
no. The first time I met LeBron, I'm rebounding for Darius Baisley at the time. I remember it. I'm at Shepherd of the Hills Gym, right? He's behind me. I'm right here. The door's behind me. And I just feel presence. Like I didn't even see, right? And we didn't know that LeBron was coming. Right. You had a feeling that something was happening because some, his crew, his security guards, they walked through and like, man, where are these big old people walking in here? Like they were clearing the space, making sure everything was good. And I'm rebounding, and I just feel like, man, who is behind me? Because everybody's eyes shift too. And I look, I was like, oh, it's LeBron James. I don't get starstruck. I don't.
Yep.
Man, I became the number one rebounder. I was Dennis Rodman, like
Best pass
whipping that thing.
The best pass you ever thrown.
Yep, and that's what I felt. He didn't even work out that day. He just sat down to watch the workout. He was coming off his injury when he first moved to LA. He's coming off his injury. He just came to watch the workout. And so
let me see where I'm gonna be stepping, putting my.
There you go. And that was it. And I'm glad I got that out of the way because that day it was just like, oh hey, LeBron, this is Todd. Nice to meet you.
Right.
And then that was it. And then the next time we were in the gym, we're actually shooting a commercial, and I'm like guarding him. But that initial shock value, him and Jerry West.
Okay.
The two people, RIP. Jerry West was his presence is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm talking like we're at 360, and it's that same thing, man. He spoke. Even the dudes who were working out, like the randoms, everybody just stopped. Like I've never seen that before in my life, where everybody in the whole gym just stopped. But some people have that. I try to have that quality around my kids. And it actually works. They tell me all the time. It's like it's so different when I walk in the gym versus when all my other trainers are in there. People like they don't, Todd. They just like they respect us, but it's different with you. And I'm like, this is a good thing. And it's not like they're afraid of me. There's a loving fear.
There's a difference.
There's a loving fear. It's like, man, I'm like, I hope that's how y'all feel about
when
God,
I see my
first
pops,
off.
like when I see my pops, it's the same. I get what you mean.
Yeah,
What you mean. But this game is beautiful though, man, and it means so much to us. So, like I'm one of those guys where if I'm awestruck, I just am. Like I still see these guys as my hero. I'm a big hip hop guy too. So, when I see certain people right here, I'm like, these are my heroes. Or if I
who's your favorite artist? Now I gotta know now.
I mean, Hov is my favorite artist of all time.
Gotcha.
But that whole era for me, like, so when I see on social media, I think Jada and Nas doing karaoke, I'm grateful that we are now living in a world where our greats can live long enough to do karaoke.
Right.
We were living in a moment where our greats weren't getting past 24.
Right.
So I think that's cool. And I'm like, that's the kind of stuff that moves me. And, when I see LeBron, I'm like, I'm still, I worked for the Clippers for 2 years. When I would meet them dudes, I'm like, that's Cherokee Parks. Y'all don't think he's somebody? To me,
man,
that's Cherokee Parks.
Man.
Are you not?
Right.
Are you not? Are you kidding me? That's Olden Poly needs nobody. I'm like, listen, I'm from the East Coast. We don't have these, what do I call them? We don't have these people walking around like that.
Right, not LA.
So I'm just like, absolutely. That's him, and that's him. That's a big deal. And every time I drive by Great Western Forum, which is now Kia, right? My daughter hates it. Baby girl, yes, Dad, I know Michael Jordan won his first NBA championship in this building, and I know that they probably cleaned the carpets, but the champagne is probably still there. I love you. I just keep driving. I'm a fan of the game, man. I love it. I love everything about it.
What I see in you and hear is your passion and love for this game, and you fell in love with it organically.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. Most of my audience is either hoop people or parents with kids who are in the sport. Yeah. And I love to tell the parents that like your kid has to fall in love with this. And it cannot happen with you forcing them to do anything, pushing them to training sessions with the best in the world and all that. Let them organically fall in love with it. If they're not coming to you saying, hey, can we go work out?
Yeah.
they probably need to be doing something else. This is probably not their gift. This is probably not their calling. Now, I think there's an age in which that happens, around that 10 to 12 to 13. Like before that, make them athletic, hey, push them in sports, blah, blah, blah. When they get in that middle school range where their hormones are kicking in and they can actually make decisions, if you haven't had to yell at your kid for not coming home because he was playing basketball, or he's doing it with like my mom, I used to get in so much trouble because I was playing basketball. She knew where I was. She could walk out my door and see me down the street. Or I'd be in the backyard. Hey, the street lights is on. I'm in the backyard. I don't care, boy.
You can see me.
It's nighttime. Hey, you can't even see. I can see the hoop. It's orange. So that's the love and passion I have.
Absolutely.
So, man, when I see that in the kid, her brother is like that. That's why, like, yo, Roman, whenever Roman wants to do is, yo, it's yours.
Yeah.
Because you were like me, like he just stays in the gym. Like those people, I would do anything for. I don't want you to pay me nothing.
Yeah.
Like your passion is going to take you somewhere great because you love this so much. And that's what I look for in kids is if I can see that in you, along with all those intangibles, man, like your future is so bright because me and you are still in this basketball game. We didn't make it to the league.
Straight up. Straight up.
Like
nowhere near it.
That's what this game is about, is using this passion and this love. And if you don't find that passion and love in your life, you'll never know how hard you'll go for something.
I don't even understand people who don't find something, because I believe that everyone has something.
Yes.
And as parents, I believe it's our job to expose them to as many things as we can so something can eventually take hold. You know, I say back in the day, I hope something take hold of you, baby. So something takes hold.
We didn't say that on the West Coast, but go ahead.
But so something takes hold and the kid can learn life through this. I learned life through basketball. Yes. I learned life. When AAU was taken off for me, for us, that's 93, 94, 95 maybe. And then by 98, it was all, it was up. But I'm in a cast. Broke my elbow junior year, broke my wrist junior year, broke my elbow senior year. So I got a whole 2 calendar years almost of basketball in a cast. So they cut that thing off and I went to the tryout and almost made it. My man was like, we got a guy that we gotta rock with. And that was my AAU window. After that, I just went back to what I knew. Watch it, try it. And then, at that time, we're talking 97, 96, 97. So that's when we were all kind of, Mike is the guy, but I'm not growing anymore. I'm 5'10". So fadeaways are not the thing that I should be working on. But man, that was when number 3 came out. And that's Iverson, that's Marbury, that's Steve Francis. The game got real different for us. Like, oh, this is cool, I can do that. But I was also so in love with the game, I started watching college basketball. A lot of people they skip right over that.
Yeah.
That's when Damon Stoudemire, I said, oh, I can do this at my size. Got it. You know what I mean? Because Iverson was a freak. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's got a 7-foot wingspan or 6, whatever it is. I don't have that. But we were all still doing the crossover and the referees was like, dude, come on. I got to call something here, buddy.
Right.
Now they don't call nothing. But that passion is what can propel you through your life. I don't care if it's music. I don't care if it's dance. I don't care if it's art. I don't care if it's fashion. That passion will help them learn how to be rejected, how to be accepted, how to hear no and be okay with it, how to find your clique, your crew, your tribe, how to work really hard at something and still be told it's not good enough, how to chop that thing down and realize there's other pieces to it. I'm so sick of 40-year-old rappers right now. It drives me crazy. And I say to myself, man, if you could only recognize that there's writers, that there's engineers, that there's producers, that there are people who open studios, that there are A&Rs that are needed. There are managers and there are people who can do things that within all of this. Not everybody's supposed to be the rapper. And I think when you're in love with something, you might find out, hey, I'm not the hooper. Reading Karan Butler's book,
right?
Shot Clock.
Yep.
When Homeboy found out that it wasn't for him, and the next thing you know. So I can't wait for the 3rd book when he becomes the coach. I know that's next.
Right.
I know that's next for him to become the coach at a high level. But for me, it taught me everything. No coaching. My wife always says this. You don't give yourself enough credit. You were self-taught. Of course, I had coaches, but she was like, you never had like proper instruction. I was always raw. That was a word that was used. And my father told me this later, like they keep using that word raw with you. He was like, you don't even realize raw is actually a beautiful thing.
Man.
Being raw, he said, some people are too trained. They're too locked into this specific thing. He said, you're still raw and you're about to graduate high school. This is a good thing. Now, do you still want to move through with it? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. First college, went to JUCO. My first game, I scored 30. He was like, this is for you. And I said, this is for me. And I ride that sucker, into a NAIA partial scholarship, 5'10", South Carolina. It was the first time that I've been turned loose. I think some of the other recruits didn't show. Something happened where they didn't show. And my point guard that I was lied to, because this is how coaches did it back in the day. You're the only guy, but they bring in 2 or 3 guards. One of my best friends to this day, Delvin, who was better than me. He hates when I say that. He was better. He just wasn't as good of a shooter as I was, but he was better. He was a dog, right? From New Orleans. And Delvin comes in and he's a partial qualifier, so he can't play. So without other guys showing up, coach knew we weren't going to be very good. Do you? And somebody to tell you to go do you, I was able to express all of those things. What am I, 5'10"? What are you doing scoring 41 in a basketball game? What are you doing hitting 9 threes in 2002? They weren't shooting threes at that clip. I was shooting 10 threes a game. That wasn't a thing. I was playing like now, but back then. So to be able to express myself in that full, that was God. You know what I mean? To finally say, this is, you've been hurt, kind of scarred by coaching. I had coaches that want to be my dad. I have a fantastic father. I don't need you to be my dad. What movie you watching? You know what I mean?
Minor Force.
Right. Knock it off, right? You know what I mean? Like, knock it off and show me how to play this game that I love. Nah, I wasn't getting that.
Right.
So, and then even to the professional part, which is a very interesting story for me.
I want to slow it down just a little bit because we hopped through quick. And it's all great information. I know where you're headed. Because I like to highlight just people's journeys, right? Like you said, from high school to not playing AAU, playing in high school, going to junior college.
Yes.
And so where'd you go to junior college at?
Manchester Community College in Connecticut. Yeah, we were a D3 JUCO with a bunch of studs.
Really?
A bunch of dudes from around the way.
Man.
You know what I mean? I guess it would be the equivalent of like what LA City used to be back in the day.
Got you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a bunch of dudes from around the way. Some things went wrong here and there. Maybe a baby, maybe bad grades, maybe a broken foot, and here we are descending, and we were getting busy.
Yeah.
We were getting busy.
And then, so the reason you went to junior college, was it academic, skill level? What was
All
of it?
All of it, especially being hurt junior and senior year. So there's no exposure for me. And the one camp that I went to, I kept the shoebox. I kept the Jordan 4 shoebox full of Division III letters. And those, although that's a recruitment, that's not a scholarship offer.
Right.
And so that was that piece. So I'm like, well, I still think I can do some things. I also explored a couple of prep schools. Connecticut is notorious for its prep schools.
Absolutely.
For those who are watching out there, if you don't know what Connecticut is, Connecticut is Connecticut. It's one of the most affluent states in the country. But Central Connecticut is not. That is a hub for black folks who come up from down south, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, West Indians. My mother, my stepmother, my brothers are Jamaicans, West Indians. That part of my family is Jamaican. And when you have that, you've got all the ills of an inner city world that we grow up in. People don't know about that. I'm like, this ain't Greenwich. This is Central. So, growing up in that world, you have to figure it out. And it's competitive. We ain't got no pro teams. Basketball is life for us. UConn women's, UConn men's. They are professionals to us in our world.
Right.
So, just being hurt and not having the exposure, the Division III letters, I want to give it a shot. JUCO first, and I got one offer. One. So the story that they talk about, it was me. I got one offer, and it was like some partial money. And my father was like, bye.
And so where'd you end up going? Was the NIA school?
So Johnson & Wales University, South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina.
Nice.
We played an independent schedule because NAI, so you could be playing, Life was the team back in the day. And they had a bunch of stars. And I remember going to Life, and I'm like, yo, did we just lose about 47 points, guys? We lost by 47? Got it. And then you turn around Tuesday night and you play some school and you smack them by 25. So we were playing D3s, NAIs, independent schools.
Right.
And like I said, the other guys didn't show up, and it was just me. I was putting up some shots.
No, man, given the freedom to do you, that's what I won literally every single one of them jerseys up there represents a coach of the or a player of the year. Like I was the most coachable kid, literally, on all my teams. I got them all throughout my whole career.
Yeah.
That's what I was known. I was always the captain of my team.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't start, I was a sixth man. Not that one. I was a sixth man. Like we were the number 2 team in California through my AAU time. I was the sixth man through all of it. My JV year, I was the sixth man. When I went to junior college, I was like the 10th man actually. But I always came off the bench. But I was the captain of every single one of those teams.
Coachable.
I was coachable. I was a leader. I didn't lose a sprint. I did all the little things. But what I was lacking was a little bit of rebellion, like that little bit of a rebellion to like let the coach know that I'm more than what you were telling me that I am. Because it's crazy because my daughter has it now. Ooh.
When you see it, it drives you
insane. Man, right. I just caught it. Like my daughter will do exactly what you tell her to do. And so if she's reading at a 4th grade level, her teacher doesn't know she's reading at a 4th grade level because she's just telling her to read phonetics and cat and mat and bat. And it pisses me off, right?
Yeah.
So now I know really why it really does, because I never had that opportunity to step out of the side of the box where a coach said, here. I would literally go into a shell in junior college. I went into a shell of myself. In open runs, dunking on everybody. I was hooping. I was getting to my work. Coach came in the gym. I got to do what the coach says. And he told me, your job is to set screens and play defense. That's what he told me to do. I'm playing at the JUCO Jamboree, the big JUCO in Oklahoma. That's like the big JUCO Jamboree. Literally, coaches lined up all the way across the row, almost 200 coaches in there. I'm on a fast break. I remember this moment. I have bad dreams about it. I'm on a fast break all by myself, 39-inch vertical, like bouncy. And I'm by myself. I get a clear still. And I hear my coach say, lay it up, Todd, lay it up. Literally what I heard, like that's what he said. And so I jump in the air, jump to dunk, lay it up, Todd, lay it up. I'm literally, here's the backboard. I'm above the glass. So I do one of these in the middle of a dunk and a layup. Shot my confidence, man. That's when I stopped caring. Wow. This is going into my sophomore year. I was like all my homeboys, my roommate to this day, man, he was like, I remember him telling me, he's like, dog, like, do you stop listening to it? He said it a different way. Right. Stop listening to that coach that does not understand you. And the next game, I'm on a fast break again, 2-on-1. I think it's my roommate actually, no, my boy Lade, running right next to me. Man, I take off 2 steps inside the free throw line. Boom. I see the coaches start standing up on the sideline. I remember it was so clear. Go to dunk, back rim it. But it was the moment I stopped caring. The next game, we had a scrimmage, a 2-hour scrimmage. That's when he only played me for 8 minutes. And I was like, I gotta leave. I didn't know what I know. There was better ways I could have handled the after part, but that part of not caring, right? And then seeing how I played when I was 22, 23, 24 and, semi-pro leagues and against all these dudes who were overseas and I'll be cooking them. And I was, yo, where'd you play at? I went to community college.
Right.
It was like, man, because I didn't care. I had nobody telling me what to do and I finally got let loose.
That's incredible.
That freedom for someone to tell you that, man, I got jealous right now. I'm super jealous.
Well,
because
here's the cool thing as well. I'm the antithesis of that. Like my wife and I are extremely rebellious in nature. If you know anything about me, I'm extremely rebellious. Everybody's running that way. I'm going the other way. Not just because I'm not a contrarian, but I've had numerous coaches tell me what I couldn't do, and I'm just like, who are you talking to? It's not. I'm not the one.
Where's that come from? Now, where was
my
that
mother
birthed?
and my father are rebellious. They won't admit it.
Yeah.
But I come from a rebellious. My father is, it's his story to tell. This is an ex-dope dealer who turned his life over to Christ. You know what I mean? Is now a doctor and travels to Ghana and India, changing lives and saving souls. And, my mom, who is a fighter by nature, I've seen my mom physically handle her business.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, handle her business. I didn't get spankings. She would punch me in my chest.
Yeah.
Boom, you were going to be a man one day, boy. I'm not. We don't play that. Knock that off right now. But I think I'm just rebellious in nature. And you weren't going to tell me that I wasn't going to play on the biggest stage that I could. It didn't matter what it was. I didn't know what it was at 10, 11, 12, 13. But what I did know is that was going to happen. If my body allowed, I was going to do that. So I didn't view basketball the way everyone else did. And this, I know it sounds crazy, is one of the reasons, as an East Coaster, that I love Gilbert. I see myself in him. There's another thing happening. Yes, there's a game down here. There's practices, there's mandates from your team and your coach, right? But there's also something else happening up here, and it's spiritual. And the idea is you have to tap into what's there to manifest what's down here. And I knew that then. I couldn't articulate it.
Right.
But there's something up there. In that up there is work. In that up there is the recognition of who you are. In that up there is choices to not do certain things, make babies. There are plenty of guys from Hartford that are better than me. Mooka, Delshawn was better than me. Ice Hawk, them dudes was better than me. But I opted to go up there to get it. I'm not smoking weed. I'm not drinking. I'm not making babies. I'm going to go to the gym. I don't have a trainer, but I can look on TV and use my mind like, oh, I can't dribble, so I should probably find a way to dribble. So I went up there to get it.
Yeah.
And there wasn't someone on this level to tell me what I couldn't do. And even so much so, if you would allow, even to the pro concept, I quit my senior year. They got rid of our program.
Of college?
I quit.
So you only played 1 year of NAIA?
1 year. My coach was the head coach and AD. He was a chip off the old block, and he was only like 25. Chip off the old block. They basically, hey man, your experiment is done, right? We've got a golfer here who's probably a pro. Those monies, the funding, the budget needs to go there. Yes, we lost our basketball program to a golf program.
Did the golfer make it?
I couldn't tell you.
I want to find. I'm about to go look
Right,
it
I
up.
couldn't tell you. So I transferred because at the time, Johnson & Wells, we still have it, but there's multiple campuses. Some play NAI, some D2, some
Okay.
D3. So I went to the Providence campus, and the Providence campus was D3.
Rhode Island?
Rhode Island. Yeah. So it's D3. But I'm like, it don't matter to me. I'm going there. It doesn't matter where I'm at. And I get there, it's not going the way I want. Maybe it's selfish, but I see something greater than this. I knew it already. I had already told my coach, hey, I'm probably not going to the NBA, but there is this international market that I want to explore. I don't know anything about it, but that's what I want to do. So here I am in Providence, and I don't know what it was. Maybe I could have handled it different. But my father, who he is, I didn't go back for Christmas. So we got like 2 days off. And eventually they start calling. You know how it goes. You don't tell your parents. The coaches are going to start calling.
Yeah.
They got to do their due diligence. And my pops, I don't know if people even know what answering machines are.
No, they have voicemail.
Yeah. So I have an answer machine. So my father's like, hey, it's 4 messages upstairs. What's going on? You hurt? Are you sick? Are you being bullied? So is something else going on? I'm like, bully sounds crazy, Pops. But okay. I said, I'm done. And he said, well, in this house, I've told you this already. We don't quit. So either you have to find somewhere else to stay, or we've got to work. You got to give me something. But he didn't say it in a way that was like, either you get out. He said it in a way, and I was like, got it. Copy that. I got to come up with something. So school opens back up. Hop on the intramurals. I got paid to pay intramurals. It was like, you live? You in action? They was like,
you
yo,
were a pro in intramurals.
Them dudes was like,
the
yo,
first I've ever heard.
Let me get Steve. Let me get Steve. I'm gonna give you a couple bucks. It wasn't no money.
Right.
I'll give you a couple bucks.
Your amateur status was gone.
Was
though.
gone.
You know that, right?
It was gone.
Okay.
It was gone. But I'm playing intramurals, and I put together a full workout. Like, I mean, we had a homeboy, Joe. What up, Joe? Classes until 11, lunch till 12, gym by 12:45. Weights, shots, ball handling, moves. Go get some food, go chase some girls, act like I'm doing a little homework. Back for open run and intramurals at about 6 o'clock. That goes till 8. Come home, cut hair. I was an entrepreneur all the time. Cut my hair, put my little $60 up, you know what I mean? And do it again. My father shows up. I love my father. He shows up. I have an uncle living in England on an Air Force base with his wife, who's in the Air Force. She's a career woman. Your uncle called. I got in contact with him. He does coach the military team on that base. But he also, because of the military team, they go out and they play some of the teams. He's receptive to you coming over. If you want, you can go over there and try out for these teams, and whatever happens, happens. But in the meantime, you can play for the military team while you try out. That was all I needed to hear. And I believe that working up in that space that I talked about dropped that option down for me. It dropped it right down.
Yeah.
And boom, boom, boom.
Not only that, I'm gonna just go straight to the scripture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seek the kingdom, and all those things will be added to you. Seek the kingdom and its righteousness. The righteousness part was the obedience, the discipline that you put in to have a schedule, knowing that you're not a real collegiate player, but knowing that you were trying to go somewhere. And those actions, and God saw your obedience to what you asked for and gave you what you asked for.
That's good right there.
And that's what it is.
That's good right there.
Doubt. And so, like, I love because you're talking about it, is like people can see that, like, God gives us these desires and our purpose within us. So all these things that you're thinking about, that you're feeling creative about, and He's leading you down a path. And with those things, we have to be responsible with it. Too much is given, much is required. And if we're not doing what is required, He's not going to fully bless us and open up the windows and doors and the tunnels that you flew through to go be a pro basketball player, from playing NAIA for 1 year and then being the first paid intramurals player in U.S. history to being a pro. It's leading to you being a pro. He's a former pro. I should have said that in your intro. But a former pro for 7 years? How long?
7 years.
7 years.
Chased
And so let's hear about. So this is what we're going to do for your pro career, and you can highlight anything you want inside of this. Is give us the 2-minute drill. So you went to England to this Air Force base, and then so the 2-minute drill. And what was your pro career? 2 minutes. Let's hear.
Okay, I'll go backwards. It was trash. I made no money. I'm 5'10", you know what I mean? So I was in the lower leagues everywhere I went, and I almost died trying, literally, like, putting my life on the line to do that. Working out in the summertime, playing in our different leagues, no trainers, sneaking into gyms, colleges, and treating it like I was a pro. So hoping to get that Iceland job, second division, you know what I mean, for $1,400 and a car on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Hoping to get that third level Germany, Bundesliga, Landesliga, whatever it is. And I chased it. And I chased it like it was my business. I respected it. I treated it like I was getting paid $1 million to do it. So England 2 years, Germany for a quick stint, Mexico, believe it or not, which is big here. I didn't know that was here, but being from Connecticut, I was just like, yo, ain't nothing happened. I'll do it. Cibacopa for a year, coming home and then getting married.
Amen.
And then saying, I'm not done.
Ooh, what did she say?
We almost lost that marriage, man. I went back to the same team that I started my career with in England and began my coaching career. I was playing, but a part of that contract was to coach. And although I left my baby, we talked about this last night in the pod, I left my baby girl and my wife for 5 months. In that room is where I found out what life was going to be like post-basketball. And that's where God was working on me. And he was saying, hey, you're going to deal with this guilt. You know, I felt bad. They talked about me. People talked about me. It was my best statistical year, by the way. You know what I mean? My best statistical year, by the way. My final year in a lower division in England playing basketball. And my wife and my daughter back home. You know what I mean? Feeling terrible and awful about myself. But I needed to do that. And my wife was like, if you don't go, you're going to resent me, and I can't have that. So she allowed me to go, finished out that year. And I flirted with a team in Peru and a lower level team in Italy. But with the idea of making money to take care of my family. That's how I justify what I was doing. But nonetheless, in that room, that's where the idea of what I would do next, how I would affect the world, whether it was basketball and all of that stuff. And that's when I had that soul searching moment. What am I good at? You know what I mean? Can I communicate? Can I articulate? Can I talk? What kind of degree do I have? Who needs me? How do you put a business together? And I sat in that room for those 4 or 5 months. Because remember, I'm married, so I'm not chasing girls, I'm not going to parties, I'm not clubbing. It was practice, home, coaching, home. And I just sit there and watch basketball movies, you know, and that's where I figured out my next move. And that moment in that room is now manifesting itself directly here. I'm watching it. I wrote it, which is cool. I'll show you one day, but I wrote it on my phone and it still carried over 4 iPhones later. I sat on Ventura, where the Kinko's is. That Kinko's on Ventura. I sat in there with a homeboy who was getting some stuff done. And he said, I'll be out here for a minute, Steve, doing what he had to do. I sat there and I put together what I wanted to do with my life and how I wanted to affect change within the game of basketball. And I went back to it maybe 2 years ago by accident and couldn't believe it was in there. And I cried. And I'm like, I'm living it. And that's how I arrived here.
Man, that's dope. I love when a vision is casted and you don't even know or realize that you're living in that vision until you look up and you run across an old note or an old journal. And I've talked about it on the show multiple times. That's how core happened too. Same thing. I went back to it 2012, 21-day fast.
Yeah.
Core was written out for me. And then I look up 2015. I'm like, oh. And like same thing. So that's always dope, man. So I just want to encourage people like those, write those things down first so you can see it, right? Like that's what makes it clear of what you're supposed to be doing. And in those moments of adversity and guilt and really surrender is what you did.
Yeah.
You gave away what you thought you were giving away to play this game or whatever your passion is in a way that you always envisioned it to, you know, to give into what God had for you, for your impact on others, right? Our gift and our purpose is always for other people. It ain't for us. And so once we let go of what we want, right? Man, I was thinking earlier, and it's a real conversation I pray I get to have with LeBron sometime this summer. Like, man, is LeBron holding on to just playing because he really doesn't know what his purpose is outside of basketball? Or does he really know? Like, he does a lot of amazing things, right? He has a school, he has a production company. He seems like a great family man, right? From what we know and we see, you know, I've been able to interact with him for the last 5-6 years, like pretty consistently in the summers. It's like, he's put together, like he's figured it out. But I'm like, yo, who is LeBron without being on that basketball court?
It's a scary thought.
It's scary for all of us. Like I could just imagine me when I like my last time I tried out for a G League team and oh man, I still can do this, and then like actually had to let it go. I remember how scary it was for me. I can only imagine arguably the greatest player of all time having to make that decision.
You arguing, I'm not.
Right?
But I get it.
He might know. I mean, like, you know, hopefully he's around the right people and he's connected to the right thing to really figure that out. See,
Todd, I think what we're spinning towards is an offline conversation. Obviously, you know, we don't have I think there's an offline conversation that needs to be had. We kind of see certain things. Everyone's individuals, but I think we see some things in the same light. I'm not omniscient on all things basketball, but what I do know is that I don't know anything other than this, and I don't think that God would allow me to run this road without having something to do with it. That wouldn't make sense to me. I'd question God for a while. Dead wrong about it, but you let me do all of this. You let me, to learn the game. I tell people all the time, one of the coolest things that I get to tell is the story of loving the game wholeheartedly. And what I mean by wholeheartedly, I've been a basketball player. I've been a coach. I was a player coach for a semi-pro team in New York, trying to get back in the game. Getting back to England that final year, a part of my gig was to start coaching the lower leagues and to train a little bit. And then it was before the Olympics, and they were doing all of the training at my hub. They had a referee's certification course. I'm in there shooting. They're like, "You want to take it?" I'm like, "Y'all paid for it. I'll take it." I'd already been refereeing at home through my guy, Mike Jones. What up, Jones? Jonesy was showing me the game. And he was like, "Put some money in your pocket, but you also get to see the game in another respect." And I was like, "You sound crazy. We're supposed to hate referees."
That's Mike's actual voice. I want everybody to know that. I've never heard Mike speak before, but I know that's exactly how he sounds.
That's Jonesy. That's Jonesy. Hey, man. No, serious. So now, as I'm exiting my career, I get to see the game in another respect.
Yep.
As a referee, as an official, right? And then I get back to England. I'm playing. Imagine that the same day, to go from preparing to play, and then after the game, you're actually refereeing, because they're paying like 50, 60 pounds per game, which is like $120 for a game. And I'm like, these kids are terrible. It's just jump balls and, you know what I mean? So playing it, training it, and Steve, where'd you learn how to train? I didn't have one. I did it myself. So when I came over here, some of the responses from the parents was like, "Where have you been?" Because to me, it's like, it's always been about jump stops and reverse pivots and L cuts and V cuts to get open. And to me, I'm like, I always look at a player a certain way. First thing I look at is, can he get himself open? All right, he can do that. How's his footwork? Great. What about his rip through? Because that's your primary move.
Man.
If you can't rip through and that's not your primary move, what are we talking about?
What are we talking about?
Right? Now, after the primary move, you have your secondary move. What's that? It should be a hesitation. It should be a pocket dribble and go to the basket. And then you start being creative. That takes years. So if you can't get past that foundational roadblock, I'm like, what are we talking about?
Yep.
And I was also unafraid to tell some of these parents in Palisades and some of these Brentwood families and some of these Westlake kids that I was training at the time, that's not gonna fly. You know this. High school, we're talking about 45 to 50 possessions. College, about 60 to 85, depending on your style and your coaching. The NBA, analytics is based on 100 plus possessions. With those possessions, the primary ball handlers, the primary players get to do certain things, right? And those things might be a step back, a second or third move, 2 or 3 times a game. And you know this. So if you get to do that move, if you're the man, if you're the guy, if you're the premier player on your team, if you get to do that 2 to 3 times a game within the possessions that I just talked about,
right,
why would you spend X amount of dollars to pay a trainer to show you how to do that move that you're gonna do 0 times? Right. That's crazy to me.
Crazy.
So my idea was I can affect greater change by expanding my training to cast the net, to take care of all 9 people on the rotation. This is how you properly rebound. This is how you think about it. This is what you do during the game. I did the math on it, only to find out that the NBA already broke it down. I felt like an idiot. But I took like 3 or 4 months. I was working at Caltech. Sorry, I was a coach at Caltech. And Doc is on the analytics board. My guy Doc is on the analytics board. And he was like, "Hodge, why are you working so hard? There's a website you can go to find out." I didn't know that a 3-man runs the floor X amount of times. I didn't know that was logged. I didn't know that a 2-man did these things. I did it myself.
And what was the system you developed? I know you called it something like you had.
I called it like a superset at one point.
Yeah, superset. Yes.
And that came from Evan Porter. Evan Porter introduced me to the idea of Tabata training. I didn't know what Tabata training was, so I started researching that.
Explain what Tabata training is.
Tabata training is not quite circuit, but it's the idea of doing a rep as long as you can for as hard as you can for as long as you can.
Yep.
As opposed to breaking it down into 3 sets of 12, 10, 8, or whatever the
Really
the reps
popular
are.
within CrossFit training.
CrossFit training.
Yep.
And the reason I did that was like, that's more what basketball is. During the game, you don't dribble, You know, I said, no. What are you doing? Sometimes you're just sitting on the free throw line, waiting for shots to go up. Our referee is saying, all right, 2 shots, right? Sometimes you're sprinting 3 times without touching the ball. A lot of times you're screening, opening up, catching, reversing the ball, all right? Sometimes you're catching, ripping through and getting fouled and going to the free throw line. Sometimes you get 2 layups in a row and then they call a timeout. And I was like, well, the way we train don't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So the whole idea in my head, I'm still running towards this crazy idea, is to put together a workout that can be simulated as a basketball game. And then people can get real feedback from this workout to find out what their pluses, minuses are, AKA your weaknesses and strengths. And then you can work on it. If you want to hire a trainer, you can. Or if you look at the true data, hey, in your offense, you do a terrible job on reversing the ball and ripping through. Because that B gap is, that A gap is open for you. But you're always trying to get to the B gap or the C gap. Hey, you rebound the ball really, really well, but you don't rebound it because I just think that the game can be simplified, and that a simpler game allows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to know what they're good at. There's a difference between a 7 or 8 man sitting there like this, I ain't never gonna play, and knowing now, if I get an opportunity, I can do this. That's a different world, Todd.
Yes.
If I'm the 8th man and I'm only gonna play every now and again, how would you feel if you knew, all right, I'm getting 3 minutes tonight, but I know exactly what I can do well. I can spend those 3 minutes obsessed with doing these things. And next thing you know, the coach is like, yo, Todd, get him. Because I know what Todd's gonna do. I know what Steve's gonna do.
I'm gonna flip it to the coaching side. How do you, we had a player like that. This was when I was my first or second year as an assistant at Heritage, Jaden Insland, who has worked for me in the past now, but we knew 2.5 minutes a game.
Yep.
And he averaged 9 points. If you left him in longer than them 2.5 minutes at a time,
You gonna feel it.
oh,
You gonna feel it.
It will turn over century. But for 2.5, his energy was so crazy. You know, and he just bought in. He knew he wasn't gonna play. We put him in at the end of quarters and say, hey, so we give Juwan Harris Dyson, who's playing pro in Germany right now,
Yeah.
like, hey, he needs a break, go get him.
Wow.
And he would go in and just 3 steals, bucket, all energy. And he was ready. He didn't care. He didn't care that he didn't play 10 minutes a game. And he's all bought in. And I don't know what the heck. Me and Paul talk about it all the time, man. Our second year, we went to the open division. We still don't know what the heck we did. We have no idea.
Yeah,
like,
no
we were
idea.
like, no idea. But we did it, and we had buy-in from every single player in that bench, to the point that literally every starter, we had a freshman come in who was top in the country at the time, Dylan DePina, and we had 5 starters, all senior, 3 seniors, 2 juniors, or a junior and a sophomore, and said, hey, do you believe Dylan should start? All 5 said yes, and then we asked, who should he start for? All 5 said, he could start for me.
That's unbelievable.
Crazy
That's unbelievable, man.
And 2 of those players, one of them was Juwan. He ended up going to Cal. Other 2 were all CIF players. Shout out Zion and Keithan. Like what?
That's crazy, man. I'd never heard anything like that.
No, but like I said, we didn't know what he was doing, but we had buy-in. And
That's
how
crazy.
do you get a player, the 8th man, 9th man, to buy in, to believe in themselves for that amount of time, and that you have their best interest? Because I'm sure they want to go play in college. I'm sure there's more dreams, right? So what's your philosophy?
I think what y'all did was I'm still stuck on that. But back to that idea is complete transparency. They're complete transparency because you have to, you're macro. As a coach, you're a macro. You just said coach. As coach, you're macro. As a trainer, you're micro. I think those are getting conflated. They're getting conflated. No, coach has macro. My job is to make sure that we all do well. From the strength and conditioning to film to if we're providing food to how we travel to the offense we run. Yeah, you got two guys that can score, but I got to put you in positions to do that.
Yeah.
And that means I got to move him out the way because if he doesn't, he comes off the screen and he can't shoot. He's shooting at 13%, so that doesn't work. Okay, you're thinking macro, but I think the buy-in, as you said, it's a psychology, not trick. You ain't trying to trick someone.
Right.
I think kids 6, 7, 8, 9 they have to be, to your question, they have to be psychologically pushed into believing they can do what they do. And I think some coaches don't take the time. They just, I'm gonna play you when I can play you. No, I have pre-season meeting with roles assigned, and we have exit meetings. How did you do? So when you come off that bench, you know exactly what to do. Your mom can email me. It don't matter. Because at the end of the day, if a coach don't trust you, he's not gonna play you.
Right.
Right? That's just how it goes. But if you know what I just can't imagine what that would look like as a seventh man. That means I play. I don't play a lot, but I know exactly what's a dog. Sorry. You get a dog, and that dog is untrained. It's gonna tear your house up. It might even bite someone, you or whatever, and now you got to pay money because you're being sued. But you get a dog, and you let them know where they can go, where they can't go. You assign them a role. This is how you protect. This is what you do. This is when you can eat. This is how you eat, and you reward them and you love on them. What is that dog gonna do for you, Todd?
Gonna be a family dog. That's the kind of dog I need. I don't like dogs, but if I had one like that, I'd be all right.
But you see what I'm
That's
saying?
real talk. Yeah. Yeah. But it comes to the training, the development.
And I just think that I'm getting back into it. So I am going to reinitiate this. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I believe in this workout. I believe if you take your time, you can do more with less.
We're going to talk about it off camera.
Yeah.
I think I have the platform and
Offline.
yes.
Offline.
Amen.
Offline.
Amen. Coaching.
Yes, sir.
Right, we're going to hop into your coaching. Okay, I usually don't do two-minute drills in an episode, but we have to.
Yes, sir.
Because you were a player coach at one point.
Yes,
And
sir.
then so your coaching career. So you started as a player coach in England.
Nope, I was a player coach on a team called the Hudson Valley Hype, which was
the Hype. That's a
Hudson Valley
interesting
Hype. It was a
mascot name.
semi-pro team in New York that I used to get some numbers and some film to try to get back overseas again once I had stopped playing for 2 or 3 years.
Oh, nice. You like started this team yourself?
No, it was
existing.
online.
Wow.
I wasn't waiting for anyone. There's got to be a team. It was an NABL or NIB. There's 1,000 of them.
Right.
Something crazy. I emailed them my resume. Sure, come on up. My wife and I, 3 hours on the weekends from Connecticut to New York to play a game. And I realized the coach didn't know what he was doing. So I'm like, nah, let's just keep it simple. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 1 is a ball screen for the guard. 2 is a pin down for the 2-man. 3 is a pin down for the 3-man who can also feed the 4 if he wants to, but let him go. And 5 is for our big. All right, it was basically a floppy.
Yeah.
Running your guards off, JJ Redick or Ron Mercer, whoever your guard is. Run them off, boom, boom. They can't get anything. They feed the post. Nothing there, reverse it, ball screen. That was it. I didn't realize that I was coaching. To me, it just made sense.
From the whole system.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, so 2-minute drill. So from semi-pro league in New York to Pacifica Christian, location, how long you were there, and
Okay. Let's do it real quick.
anything that. Let's do it.
So that little situation right there, let's go middle school. I was a middle school coach in East Granby. Kids hadn't been above 500 in years. We finished 1 game above 500, which was cool for me, 3rd place. From there, we moved. I ended up having a part of my contract was to coach the Sheffield Hallam team in England. So I would coach them and then go straight to practice. Had to travel with them and everything. They were awful. It was like a varsity team, like a really bad varsity basketball team, but they were playing university level. From there, come home, moved to LA, connect with Levine and Tariq, take on the Frost gig, at Grant High School, lovingly. Win league there. Come back the next year, meet Thomas, playing ball at Grant for a shut-in. We did a shut-in to make sure people can go home. Hey, we want y'all to go home. So we're going to lock the doors. We're going to get 11 people in here. We're just going to hoop. I'm still at the top of my game. So me and Thomas are killing people, even with his bad hip. Killing people. Yo, where you play? I said, I'm a janitor. Where'd you play? So, yo, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't play basketball. So we playing, connected, get the phone call. Yo, I got something for you if you're interested. There's a school called Campbell Hall. I don't know what that stuff is. I'm fresh out of county.
Right.
I'm fresh. So Thomas and I connect, Campbell Hall. Learning the private school game. I knew nothing about private school in Los Angeles. So there's that. Second year, started interviewing. Thomas was like, I'm not gonna return. I want you to stay here. So I'm not gonna return no reference calls. You know what I mean? That's my guy.
That's
I love
Thomas.
him.
Yep.
Thomas, I return no reference calls. Yeah, but that first stint at Pacifica Christian, people don't know that I was there years ago. One year. I was there years
Did
ago.
not know that.
My first gig, I did not get along well with administration. I did not. And I'm not
rebellious.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Long story short, I go to meet my friend Doc. Me and Doc had connected somehow. And I go straight to Pasadena to pour out I can't believe they treated me like this and so on and so forth. Hodge, are you done? I want you here. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. I don't like men. I don't do men. That's not my thing. I don't do men. But he was like, no, I want you you here. I said, you can do that? I don't have a 4-year degree, coach. Doesn't matter. I don't have a Caltech, MIT, Caltech. What is a little black boy from Hartford, Connecticut with a 2-year degree after playing ball for 4 years and I have a hospitality management degree? I'm assistant coaching at Caltech on the route, like getting paid to do that while also working for the Clippers. The Clippers' job was to find out basketball at a business level, youth sports. That's all it was about.
So you did the youth development coach?
Yeah, I just wanted to find out what it was like. But then I rose through those ranks as well. And there's where I met
Was that plugged through Quran or was that
No.
Just wonder if Quran
LinkedIn.
was there.
LinkedIn.
Wait, you found it online and
I
applied
went
for
on
a job,
LinkedIn
huh?
and put keywords, Clippers youth basketball.
Boom.
Boom, found a guy, he accepted me and I waited about 10 minutes, bombarded him with my resume. He's like, yeah, I got something for you. Killed that, so I'm doing Clippers during the day, practice at Caltech at night. No, I'm sorry, school, walking the yard as a school
Supervisor.
monitor or whatever. School monitor till 2. Get on the 110, Pasadena, and whatever time I had in between, go get hours with the Clippers.
Dang.
And that's where I met my business partner. We opened up a company. 7 years later, here we are. And then during that time, I took the, Shaw, my AD. What's up, Shaw? Shaw, I need your help. On LinkedIn, finds me, and I seen that his title changed to athletic director. I said, I know what this is about. My wife was like, no, we don't go backwards, baby. We don't go backwards. But I hadn't left my imprint. I'm like, my spirit ain't right. Because it wasn't a me thing. There was something going on with administration.
Right.
And I was like, I gotta get out of here. So here I am. No, sorry, after that was AGBU, Pasadena, Armenian school, 4 years. And I would have never left there if the school didn't shut down. I loved it there. I loved it. Did well. We won league, girls and boys. So coaching JV boys, varsity girls, and varsity boys. So all she did was put the schedule as the same. So when we got on that bus,
You got 3 games in a row?
3 games in a row.
Oh, you different.
I needed that money, Todd. But the thing about the reps that I got 3 years worth of reps every year. So coaches get 1 year worth of reps.
Yeah.
I got 3 years.
In 3 different levels.
In 3 different levels.
3 different types of different textures of basketball on the coaching.
And I love the girls' game too. I love it. They can learn better than boys. I know I shouldn't say that.
No, you
they
should.
They can learn.
It's the truth.
And then back to Pacifica Christian, and here I am.
How long have you been at Pacifica now?
This will be year 5.
Year 5. And then I want to talk about the entrepreneur side, and we got to talk about your wife and marriage.
Fantastic woman.
Fantastic navigating all of this lifestyle with being married and having a strong marriage.
Yeah.
And so, the business, right?
Yes.
How did that come along? What was it? Right. What was your business? What was your guys' purpose? And how did that come along? And
Breakthrough Sports was out of necessity. My partner kept getting fired. So, we still laugh about it to this day, but my partner came in as my boss, and he came in from the Anaheim Ducks. Now, you understand, there are ex-NBA players that want this job as the head lead, whatever it is, over the youth sports organization. They want that job.
He was your boss with the Clippers?
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah, so all of those guys wanted those. I can name all the NBA players that were helping us, but it's a sweet gig. 70, 80 grand. It's basketball, youth, blah, blah, blah. You do camps, but they brought him in. So the guy who I found on LinkedIn that hired me, they let him go. He gave me a shot, but they let him go. So they bring in someone, which is my partner. And of course, everyone who was around at the time was like, yo, Clippers gonna clip. How do you bring in a hockey dude? What are y'all doing? And a lot of people just start walking away. You know what I mean? But there's some things that came out of that. So there's some really good programs because we had a strong coaching staff. Mike Martin, my guy, Great Gaines, he's doing his thing. Stephanie, she's with ABA. She was on that roster. And there's a Michelle Franco, USC, All-American, Bishop Amat. She's doing her thing. It was a ton of fantastic coaches that were on this boat. And a lot of them just bailed. I didn't bail. I knew what I was there for. I said, hey man, I just need to know some things. I'm here, I want to learn. You know what I mean? This is like getting PhD for me. I've got this superset idea. Just wondering what you have planned for the coaches and for the summer. I'm glad you said that. I heard about you. When can we meet? I'll be there in 20 minutes. So here we are in that, just like a movie. Long table, in the corporate building. Lawrence Frank walking by. I'm starstruck. That's Lawrence Frank. What is happening? These people mean something to me. And here we are building out this curriculum for a full-out youth sports thingy. He overstepped his boundary. They let him go. And here I am. And he told me they have to offer it to you, Steve. And I'm like, I'm not here for this. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, I'm really not. I'm cool. This can help build my brand. But I'm not here for this. And who want to work for the Clippers? Like at the time, right. That's during Sterling's time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who want to work for this? Long story short, he loses his gig, but I'm left alone. No, I don't even know who my boss is, but they're like, Steve, can you do this? Can you do that? How you gonna pay me? We'll pay you through the community relations. We'll pay you through this. We'll pay you through that. Ended up in Hawaii for the preseason.
Oh, nice.
And we're gonna see almost 150 kids over the span of 4 hours. They brought us over there to do that. You know what I mean? And I was like, fine. My wife was like, don't you give them no free game. Don't give them free game. Let them fall on their face. $1 million, $1 billion. I said, I'm here. I can't. That's how I'm built. So, my man, you got ball handling. My man, you got footwork, and then we'll rotate them, all right? After footwork, they're coming over here. We'll do rebounding. Over there, you're doing defense, my man. My man, you put 8 minutes on the clock. Every 8 minutes, we're going to rotate. All right, we're going to rotate till everybody comes through. All right, well, what's the final one? Free throws. Let's keep stats. Let's award them the free throw champion of the whatever. And we did this. But when I got home off that plane, my partner had left me 1,000 messages. Hey, man, I know we talked about this business. Let's do it. Hey, honey, I need to talk to you. She said, I heard the message. I know what you want to do. Let's not play the game. Go start the company. Go do what you. Let's not play this stupid game that you doing. Go ahead and start this company. Breakthrough Sports was a Walmart for sports, but designed not for hyper competitive kids. It was designed for the kids who wanted to learn how to play sports: basketball, baseball, football, volleyball, soccer. And we put together a littles program, which was ages 3, 4, and 5, which I still love to this day. Because a lot of cities can't deal with 3, 4, or 5-year-olds or find coaches for that matter, because coaches believe that if their kids aren't dunking and crossing over, then they can't coach. And now I can tell people I can actually coach. If I give you 5 studs, yeah, you're a great coach, but I can coach. I can take a kid who doesn't know what this thing is yet, doesn't even know what it is, and help them be able to walk out of So we had that. We also had leagues that started to develop, 3-on-3 for basketball, because we learned the hard way with 5-on-5. My son doesn't touch the ball. They don't pass the ball to my daughter. So he says, do 3-on-3. Yeah, she might not get past it, but she'll have more of an opportunity. There's more space, and you can learn how to play the game, and so on and so forth. We could hire more coaches and collect more revenue, and it was good for business. Softball leagues, volleyball leagues, and through that, I had to become more immersed in sport. I had to learn more. So I know more about sports than I ever did growing up, and I also learned business. And once the business became too intense is when I wanted out. I wasn't seeing my family the way I wanted to see them. But it was cool that my son had a sport every season.
Right.
T-ball, basketball, and he loved when Coach Mike Knox would come and do baseball. Is Coach Mike coming? And Coach Mike comes and, all right, you gotta hold the baseball bat like this. But it gave me an opportunity.
Coach Mike sounds like James Earl Jones.
Yeah, he does.
But maybe even
yeah,
deeper
he does.
voice. Yeah, Barry White.
Right. And that's another piece of the breakthrough sports part, was it allowed me, for some of the kids that I had trained and coached years ago that needed some jobs and some money, it allowed me to sow that into their life. Hey man, come get this $15 an hour or whatever we was paying to go, let me show you how to teach kids.
Yeah.
Let me show you how to do jump stops. And we would just have fun with it. So rather than just saying, you gotta choke up on the bat, no, it was pancakes, chicken wings, chop the tree down, right? Toes, knees, elbows, cookies. Toes, knees, elbows, cookies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And all that did was help me become a better coach at the higher levels. And now I can also look at a coach and I can be like, oh, you can't coach yet. But that's fine. Let's help you.
Yeah.
Right? You're moving too fast. You know what I mean? When I was doing interviewing for the Clippers, I was hiring coaches. We would take them to a court and I would tell me, here's a kid, or here, I'm the kid. Show me how to make a layup. Tell me how to make a layup. Show me. And it was like 2 steps, put it on the glass. I said, no. Tell them to back up. They need momentum, right? Speed dribble. Let's take 2 or 3 speed dribbles. Gather the ball. Right, left, and aim that ball at the top of the glass, nice and soft. And that way it won't even touch the rim. It won't ever miss. And that's when I started learning how to okay, this is how you teach coaches. So breakthrough sports grew me, but it beat me up. And I probably stayed 2 or 3 years too long.
Yeah.
And now here I am in this moment, and I see you, we connect, and I'm trying to, I'm going to therapy as well, you know what I mean? I'll probably do my fast next week. The Almighty is telling me to be still. But now I'm learning what that meant. What does that mean? I'm a worker, Todd.
Yeah.
No trainer. You know what I mean? I flew to England on my own dime. I emailed teams every morning in England until somebody emailed me back for workouts, because I didn't make the team. Shaheen Holloway was the point guard they brought in for the London Towers. So I wasn't making that team.
Right.
But I'm not going home. So I'm a worker. So now I'm just basically in this phase, taking my time. It's only been a few weeks, a month, but just kind of taking my time. Season just ended. So now I'm gonna go home and visit some family. We'll fast a little bit, pray a little bit, meditate a little bit, and make my next move my best move, whatever that is. But I'm okay with not knowing exactly what it is, even though I know where it's at.
Right. Right. How has the dynamic, because you said you were overworking, consuming your time, your dynamic with your wife and your family has changed even in this last month? And what would your advice be to someone who's on the grind, who is a grinder, like a worker, and in that situation where they have to make that decision to manage their time, deciding between providing for the family and spending time with the family?
You've heard this already. Grinding means to wear down. And although we've used it in a misrepresenting but cool way, I'm grinding. It means to wear down. And if you continue to do that, you will wear down. And when you wear down, something has to give. Whether it's your relationship, whether it's your body, whether it's your mind. And for me, it was my mind and my body. After playing and negotiating a career in basketball, my body, it took its toll. And there was a moment, and my wife knows, there's a moment where I just had to be real with her. There was people behind me for a moment. I was like, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, I would feel these little, like, what is going on? I said, babe, something's not right. Something's not right. And then she was like, let's sit down and write it down, and let's talk about it. And I realized at the moment, coming out of COVID, we were the first sports program to get a call from some of these cities. And we were like, it's just us. My partner was like, it's just us. So we didn't have many coaches. So I was going from Inglewood to Moore Park to Burbank. That's a Sunday. back to Inglewood. Tuesdays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, I was in Simi Valley. That's Inglewood, Simi, Inglewood. And we did the math. It was about 16 hours of driving every week. I'm from Connecticut. I can get from Connecticut to South Carolina in 16 hours. I was doing that weekly. And every time you do it, you get out of that and you jump right to it. All right, everybody on the line, please. All right, get your basketballs. Hey, moms, hey, dads, good to see you. We got to stretch first. Roll the balls to your moms and your dads. You need at least 6 feet between you because it's COVID, all right? High knees, all the way to the white line, all right? Let's have a good time, all right? Eyes, ears, marshmallows.
You know you're about to coach my kid, but keep going. Say Avery going to this tomorrow. But
it beat me up. And it was messing with me, and that's when I sought out some therapy. Because I said, I'm doing the work. I pray in the morning. I read in the morning. I work out. I'm thoughtful about my what I eat. I ain't perfect, but I'm perfect. I'm thoughtful about how I eat, and I'm resting. So if you're doing those things that keep you afloat, and that ain't working, that's when you need assistance. And that's when I reached out to a therapist, and she broke me down, and she helped me. And that's when I knew I probably got about 2 more years left. And that was 2 years too long. But I'm grateful to have built up a program with enough equity to exit with a couple bucks, having bought a home in Los Angeles, which is crazy.
Yes.
Having been able to retire my wife, which is crazy. And having, the ability to have time to think about my next move and cushion enough to think about my next move. That's God. And I'm like, so grinding will get you what you need, but you will pay the cost. And when you pay the cost, recognize when you have to reset. Because ain't no real such thing as balance. There's no real such thing as balance. I throw myself in everything. And I was telling you about 7. 7 is the number of completion. 7 years of basketball overseas. Yep. When I got to LA, it took 7 years to build myself up into a company, to build my network, to build relationships, to finally jump off the boat. 7 years. Then the company. I ran it, operated with HR, coaching, hire, fire, building curriculum for 7 years. So I know now that as a human, it takes a long time to figure it out for some people, but I have a 7-year thing, and the Almighty releases me. So that's where I'm at. And I'm just like, whatever's next is next. Am I afraid? Absolutely. But I'm not afraid.
Right. Anxious.
Yeah.
More so?
Yeah. Because somebody's telling me to be still. But I know that doesn't mean be still. So in the meantime, I'll just use the gifts that I learned and sharpened while in this process of life to generate revenue and take care of my family until God tells me what my next monster is.
I'm going to tell you, like you told us earlier, man, pull from heaven.
Yeah.
That's where you get your best bet. So I just want to give you that encouragement, man.
I appreciate that.
No, man.
And I accept it.
All right, 100%, man. We got so much more to talk about, but
and
not
find
today.
a good wife. That'll help you.
Man,
Find a good wife.
We're gonna do a whole
Find a good
episode
wife.
on that. That's why I even want to get into it. I just wanted to
Find a good wife and partner, because that will help you get through your grind.
Amen and amen. We're gonna hop on to the next segment of the
Yes.
show. Thank you, man, for sharing your journey, or part of your journey.
Yeah.
And it was a blessing, man. For real.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it, man.
This is therapy for me.
That's
Wow.
what we do. You didn't know this, huh?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you know this is a therapeutic show.
I didn't know.
Oh yeah. They didn't tell you that.
I thought you just had good-looking people out here. I'm sorry.
No, hey, no, man. It's they call me the Black Oprah. So, anyways, I'm joking, y'all.
That's a good. That's a layered joke. That's good stuff.
Thank you. Yeah. My Rushmore.
Okay.
My Rushmore. Man, we're gonna hop back to these movies, man, because you said you a guru. I don't want to be specific with who movies.
Yep.
Your top 4 movies all time. You seem very eclectic when it comes to this.
I do
Talk
have
to
a
me.
very diverse palette. I'm gonna go number 1 for me. I guess I'll go 1 first. I'm going Shawshank Redemption. That story is deep, and I always fancy myself as being Andy Dufresne, just trying to escape the system. All right, that's I love it. So Shawshank Redemption is 1 for me. 2, I'm probably gonna go Braveheart. The nobility of William Wallace and what he stood for and what he was willing to die for. Yeah. People forget that he was riding for his wife. He didn't snap until you disrespected his wife.
That's deep.
I love it.
I gotta go back and watch that one.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
3, I'm gonna go Matrix. Matrix is a documentary. It is not a movie. If you know anything, I'm a nerd. I'm not a Star Wars nerd. I'm a Matrix nerd. Did you know that the woman who made it was also the creator of the Terminator?
Yes.
And when she weaved that story together, and you talk about, but also the parallels of like Christ and all the different things inside of it, and what you can do when you unplug from, is beautiful. I love that movie. And then 4 for me. 4. I'm gonna go with maybe, what will I watch over and over again? Life. I know it's weird.
No, it's not.
I know it's weird.
Funniest movie of all time.
Yeah. And it's not supposed to be funny.
Right.
It's not supposed to be funny.
Right.
That's deep. Because you're laughing, but you're like, yo, these dudes are innocent. They're doing life.
Yeah.
And just the mindset of them having to negotiate that every day and just develop a normal, and you're innocent.
Yeah,
But
it's
then,
crazy.
just when we let our guards down as people watching it, they let us know that they weren't okay with it.
Yeah.
We just lulled y'all to sleep. It just took a couple years, but we out of here. I love it. And Bernie Mac is my guy too.
Yeah. Funny dude.
What you got?
You too deep for me, man. I watch movies for entertainment. Damn. So
I don't smoke and I don't drink, dude. So I don't have much else that I can do.
Hey, that's dope. And I guess I watch certain movies and shows to see that. So I took a class at CSUN. It was black media.
Okay.
And we used to break down science fiction movies and all the racial undertones and all that kind of stuff from the first movie ever until these current day and all the science fiction films. There's a lot of Planet of the Apes. And it gets. So that was my time, like being deep with movies. More now, it's more for entertainment and I guess overall feel. So my number 1 movie is Forrest Gump, actually.
I'm not going to fight you on that.
Thank you. My wife does every time I say it.
Which is her favorite movie as well.
No.
That's my wife. So Forrest Gump is my wife.
Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah. So I don't get. Anyways, I love the movie because I like historical references. I like how this man's life touched every part of the U.S. history throughout, like good, bad, and different. I love how it's intertwined. So you're learning something, even though it's a fake story, and it was about love at the end of the day. Like he loved it. Like you said, he loved this woman so much, and that it directed his life in a certain way, and he just could not stop running.
How did he not get the monkey? How did Jenny not give him the monster? How did it happen?
He got it after. She got it after. Right?
Because she did go back to she was for the streets after.
They performed the act of coitus, and then she left. And then she
went
came
and got-
back when she was sick, yes. Remember, because she was on them drugs and stuff, yeah, so.
It drove me crazy for years.
No, there you go.
I was like,
He got it
Forrest, he had a monkey. Okay, sorry.
There you go. So you got it after.
I now know.
There you go.
I gotta tell my wife. She had the green bandit.
Man. 2 is Dope.
Oh, what a good movie.
Once again, a genre of movie where it has a little bit of everything. It has a little love story, got some action. I love movies that involve drug dealing and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, the mindset, all that. And hip hop, was intertwined
Got my lunch.
into it. Yeah, got that lunch, whatever it is, yes. Yeah, man, I think it's just front to back. That's my airplane movie. When I'm just need to like zone out on the airplane, I watch Dope every single time.
Malcolm Metacombi.
Metacombi, yes.
Yeah.
He told us about Bitcoin before Bitcoin.
Way before.
He told us about Bitcoin, and we did not
What did
listen.
Jay say? Dumbo.
Man,
we should have got in.
Yeah, we should have listened to him. He went to Harvard. I'm just saying.
Right.
Anyways, number 3. All right. It's just one that's entertaining to me.
Okay.
Trippin'. I don't know if you know this movie. Yeah, it's a hood classic. It's old girl from used to be on that show with LL Cool J. Back
In the
then.
house. She ended up being doped out. She was gorgeous.
Yes. And
And my man from Cosby Show.
Yep.
I did see Trippin'.
Yep, with Donald Faison.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is for just like straight laughs. There are so many lines and parts of that movie and hidden jewels.
I'm not mad at Trippin'.
It's like just one of my
not mad at Trippin'.
once again, just a movie. I cannot find it anywhere. I can't even buy the DVD. like I can't find this movie right now. It's
YouTube
making me
it.
upset. Yes, that's where I watch it right now. But yes. And lastly, thinking about the movies that I actually have downloaded that I actually watch. Man, it might be Life. Actually, Life is, to me, they tried to make that the funniest movie ever. Like you said, it's not supposed to be.
Right.
But man, Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence together is something special. Man.
Everyone, I can imagine how many takes. Take 3,050, because them dudes.
Have you
are
seen
so
outtakes?
funny.
I mean, y'all know you've seen outtakes. The outtakes are hilarious.
But when Eddie is, get up underneath that mother.
They they're themselves, man. So no, I love Life, man. Yeah, I think those are my top 4, man.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I have a lot.
Dope is high on my list.
Yeah. It's a dope movie.
Yeah.
Intended.
And of course, that 90s hip hop era.
Hip-hop. Yeah, and the A$AP Rocky appearance
Boom.
on there.
And did you peep that the high school, you know what high school that is?
Dorsey? No. What was
That's
it?
Grant High School.
Oh, that was actually Grant.
That's Grant High School.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
Shout out to Gilbert Arenas.
There we go.
Yep.
There
that
it
was
is.
Grant.
All right, man, our next part is Fix the Net, a misconception about yourself that you would like to make clear. If there's no misconceptions about you in this world, a misconception about basketball that you want to make clear. You tell us what it is, how you want to fix it, and you fix the net.
I'm going to weave it together. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. I'm passionate about this thing that you and I love. I don't like to abuse referees. I go hard on that. I try my best not to. If I go off on you, I snapped. I'm imperfect, but I'm not angry. I'm passionate specifically about this thing. It taught me everything. I believe that I'm not in prison because of it. I believe that I learned life because of it. I believe that I'm a strong person because of it. And when people walk into a gym, they don't realize that it could be a middle school game. It could be a 3rd grade game. I'm going to give you my best. And I expect that from the players, from the parents, from the referees, and anybody in that gym, because I'm going to give you my best.
Yeah. It's passion.
Yeah.
Go ahead and fix the net.
Should I finger roll it?
Second miss ever on the show. Just
But I wanted to do,
everybody
but do you know why I finger rolled it like that? Did you have the Iceman Gervin poster when you grew up?
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen finger rolls 100 times. I just haven't seen anybody miss, so I'm gonna call
another one.
There's 2 misses in the
To
same
my left too,
show.
by the way.
Cut the show. This is over. No. And our last segment, man, we flipped the script. You go ahead. You can't leave on a miss. Go ahead. We flipped the script. 2 questions for me. Could be about anything in the world.
Absolutely. I've been waiting for this.
I'll take my glasses off.
Yeah. You've been here, all right? I'm a transplant, as they call it. I hate that word. I'm a transplant. I've been here 13, 14 years now, and lived in the Valley for 4 years. It wasn't for me. I needed to see some of us, so I live where I live. I'm sorry. I grew up a certain way. No disrespect. Valley, LA proper. Who's the best you've seen with this thing in their hand?
So I grew up in the IE.
Okay. Oh, so you get to include that as well.
Yeah, so I grew up in the IE. I lived in Kansas for 4 years.
Okay.
During my senior year, through my first 2-3 years of college.
Okay.
So I'm giving that
Pound for pound.
pound for pound.
The best you've seen. We're speaking high school, sorry.
High school?
Let's do high school. You seen
The
him in
best
high school.
I seen with my own eyes.
With your
physically.
own eyes, physically.
Man, I'm gonna have to give it to Brandon Williams. In game, he came back from an injury his senior year. There was nothing this man couldn't do on the court. And the energy that he played with on both sides of the floor.
Wow.
He was just a dog. And his senior year, man, was a movie. Like, go watch his mixtape.
Okay. You see something popped in your head. Go ahead. We can edit this.
Yep, you know what? I'm taking that back.
Okay.
It was because he was so young and he didn't finish here. Sky Clark, sophomore year. I stand by it.
Where do you go to school?
He was a Heritage. Yeah, I was coaching him.
Wow.
His sophomore year was bananas. He's 25, 7, and 7, shot 52% from 3, 60% from the floor. with a loaded team. Only lost 2 games that year. Sky Clark was, go watch his mixtape, dunking on everybody, hitting them with the,
Right.
that's when they called him Sky Ree. Netflix was following him. Like, it was wild. So, Sky Clark sophomore year to me is still with my own eyes, and I'll probably watch almost every single game, so I don't know if it's fair, but.
You're acknowledging your bias.
Nah, that kid was
crazy.
Crazy. Huh? That kid was crazy with, man. He could do anything he want. Anything, and he locked up. He played defense.
That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, like the full game, he was man, that dude was crazy. So him and Brandon Williams, man, Brandon Williams, I ain't gonna lie. Brandon Williams senior year though was pretty
Any
crazy.
person that I ask from LA has a different story, and I love that. It shows how vast the landscape is of basketball.
Yeah.
So I think I love that because those are 2 names I haven't got. I usually get the lefty. It was a shifty lefty, St. John's. Providence, then went to Chicago.
Oh, Williams, Marcus
Levette. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, but so I coached against him when I was at Campbell Hall.
Okay.
With Aaron, they went for 52 and 50 or something like that. And
Aaron was different, dude.
He's who he is today, just in high school.
And without derailing the conversation,
Yeah.
I think he doesn't get his respect because Drew was such an incredible player. He don't get his respect. I was across the way hearing about him and what he was doing in high school. And they were like, yo, he got a grown man body and doing grown man things at 16.
Yes.
I think Aaron doesn't get
100% he doesn't. And because in the teams that Drew played with, they
Yeah.
were loaded. Not saying anything. Drew was still Drew. Drew was
Yeah.
still the number 1, 2 player in the country during the time, right? But their teams had 12
monsters.
Division I players,
Jesus.
all on one team. And they were all good.
See, that's
and you couldn't do
information I
nothing.
didn't know,
And
other
they
than his
played
brother.
really, really fast. That's how they coexisted. And everybody went to either D1 or D2. Everybody went to college.
Everybody ate.
Yes. And so Aaron came in when the Campbell Hall regime was pushed out. Everybody was kind of leaving. Like his first year with Cole was there. Okay. And then after that, it was him.
Was Jared there?
Khalil.
Was Jared leaving?
Jared Harper?
Yeah.
Jared was,
he there freshman year?
junior when he was a sophomore. So he was there for 2 years. Or no, he was a senior.
I didn't get
He was a
Jared.
senior because Jared was hurt. And so, but Aaron didn't have, Jared wasn't good until after high school. Jared was not good in high school. Jared Harper knows this. He went to prep school. He went to the East Coast. He went to prep school.
And that's how
That's
Fairfield
when he
found
got
him.
good. Because he was coming off injury. It wasn't that he wasn't scared. Like he literally missed like 7-8 months with his injury.
Was he a football player as well?
Not when I was there.
Okay.
So his senior year was just basketball. But
Yeah. When I got him, we didn't have much.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
Second question.
Second question for me, how does the relationship with your wife help support what you do every day?
Are we going to answer this? We've answered this before too, huh?
People have asked you, like, how do you able to do this sometimes, because my wife is young.
Oh, okay. Leave it alone then.
No,
leave it alone.
No.
I got a better one.
No.
leave
Because
it
I like
alone.
talking about her. So listen,
Okay.
Ashley.
She said, ooh.
I'll do that.
Ashley. Yeah,
Oh, really? That's your friend?
That's one of my
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
That makes it.
It is what it is.
How does she? Man, she allows me to be me, and she sacrifices parts of her to make sure that I'm doing what I feel God is telling me to do. She's gotten way better at this over our almost 12 years. She lets me know about myself. She checks me. Like I was doing something that some people might call unethical or immoral, which I didn't feel that way. But like 7 years ago, it would have just happened. A few weeks ago, she was like, yo, you gotta stop that. Like she straight told me. And then stayed on me for 2 weeks to make sure I did not continue to do that. That, like the accountability is everything. And she, like you said, I've been blessed to retire her, though she takes care of the kids.
Yeah,
and,
right.
in the household, like
I know
she's retired
I don't want that.
from working from other people.
Yeah.
But what she do, no. Like what she does with that, thank God. So that part too. Like I have the confidence and the security that my kids are being taken care of, which is a huge factor for me.
Yeah.
And man, she's my homie, man. Like I could literally tell her anything. I literally, like, We know each other's password. I don't know how we do a lot of counseling. She has all my passwords. She has access to my phone whenever. Not that she goes and abuses it, but that's how much we trust each other. I don't go somewhere else to have conversations with anybody unless I'm trying to, give her a surprise gift. She is to the point too where even with her friends, this is how much I like. It helps me trust her even though I don't like it. With her friends, like if Karina tells her something and Karina asks her not to tell me, she won't tell me. And it pisses me off. But I'm like, dang, I love that loyalty.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
Yeah.
And so
she's your bulldog.
She's she's an awesome person, like inside and out. She's just integrous. She does what she says she's gonna do. And she is my support system all the way, man.
Yeah.
So Ashley.
Yeah, you didn't stutter one time, so I knew you were telling the truth.
Oh yeah.
That flow, that's
Yeah. Nah, like you said,
good,
man, get you a good wife, man.
Get you a good one.
And what it starts with, there's few things, people, about getting a good wife, right? Make sure that you're attracted to her. And I'm not just talking about physically, but I am talking about physically. Her mental and her spiritual and her emotional intelligence, like her emotional intelligence. Make sure you can handle these women's emotions for whoever they are, because they range. And if you can't handle that, man, find that out before you get fully involved with someone.
Right.
It is so important that you can handle them at their worst.
Yep.
Because that's when it is rough and tough, and you have to have mental toughness, and you have to have the security and the right words or the right hug or whatever it is they need for that time. But once you invest into a woman and you give her stability, help her become stable, right? God can do it.
Right.
But that's why we have a helpmate, right? That's why we do have a wife. Like once they have that stability, man, they will open your life and your mind to everything you're supposed to do. And they will allow you to lead when you've shown that you can lead them with all those intangible things you don't know.
And that's when you get that reciprocal ROI.
Man.
That return on investment. Real talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that for you.
Thank you, man.
Can't wait to have y'all on the pod too.
No, man, I can't wait to.
It's gonna be cool.
Oh yeah, well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah,
but, love you, Ashley. All right.
I love that. I love that for her and you.
Karina, any questions? No. Bella, do you have any questions?
Bella, was it interesting?
I have notes. I have more questions for you guys, but I don't know if it's something.
How many?
How many clips?
Two?
Just to go deeper into like concepts that were brought up.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Like do more of less. Like what did you mean by that? Like to do more of less. You had mentioned earlier talking about. I think there was this concept of like almost spreading yourself thin or like being, like to do more of less. Like what did that mean?
What I was referring to, you talking about the business part.
Yeah.
I was doing too much. I was spreading myself too thin. I wasn't using my mind as much as I was using my body. And once I got a chance to slow down, I was able to do more with less. So I was able to use my mind and understand how to delegate. Yep. That was a big piece of the growth of the company. And I think that's a spiritual concept as well, learning how to delegate. And because delegating not only helps you grow the company, ultimately, it also empowers other people to do incredible things. And I think leaders sometimes struggle with the idea that greatness is in everyone. And that's why they struggle with delegating.
I just want to add something to that, is that a lot of people start businesses to give themselves a job. Instead of starting a business to use as an asset. And I got this Myron Golden hat.
Yes.
Kiana, I forgot her last name.
Yeah. Did you do the 4 values of the 4 levels of value yet?
Yeah, she talked about it.
No. Myron Golden's 4 levels of value. I'll send that to you. Yeah.
Oh.
No. Yes, no, it's so amazing.
And that's why we're sitting here right now.
That's why we're here. Yes, we know what it is. We know what it is. Man, Okay, anyways, yes. So, man, don't start a business to give yourself a job.
Yes.
That means you're investing into something to give yourself a job. I'm not telling you not to be an entrepreneur, but there's a way to build something as an asset to where you decide where you work within your company. And so, amen to that. All right, next one, Bella.
Sorry, where you work? one concept, but I know you've also worked so hard to get to where you're at. I feel like that resonated with me personally because I feel like there's so much that I want to do and I have so many ideas and but I don't want to spread myself too thin and I don't want to just exert myself in certain areas that I don't need to, and so I'm trying to learn discernment through that. So I guess that's two questions, right? Where do you find the discernment to decide which route to take, and then two, like where do you find the stillness in being a worker?
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go to the first one. I'm gonna let him handle the stillness of a worker
Yeah.
because he's sitting in it right now. And so the other part is just pick one. So God gives you all these other ideas and all these things, right? But once you focus on the one that has impact and purpose for others, all those other ideas will start to tag in easily. And so my big idea was core. Hey, just do core. From that, I've been able to consult with companies that I've only dreamed of consulting with. I've got to mentor people. I've gotten to train NBA players. I've gotten all these things that I wanted to do just because I focused only on core. So just pick one, God will do the rest. So whatever one is super intangible, the one that has the most purpose, just plug into that because that's God's mission for you. And then seek his kingdom first and all his righteousness and all these things will be added. Everything else is going to be added to you once you do what God's telling you to do first. Don't just have them written down and then you'll wake up in 5 years and I've done all this. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And being still, I guess the revelation for me is that I'm learning, like on the fly, is I didn't understand what that concept meant. And then you keep hearing it coming out of people's mouth. And then sometimes you hear church folks say it a certain way. You'll hear people of faith say, be still. And then you hear some people saying, hey, I've heard my headmaster at the school that I coach at, heard you sold your company. When you're done processing through that, I was like, wait, why do everybody know? And then I realized that no one in my circle had ever sold a company before. So I couldn't call anybody to get any advice or anything. And I'm like, so I need to know. And I said it, Father, like, I need help. I don't know what this be still thing means. In my mind, I'm thinking, sit down and shut up. Just take the kids to school for a little while. You know what I mean? Come home, work out, read your books. No, it means that in this moment, for me, I can now use my nest egg, of course, but I can use the skills that I've acquired in this long journey to generate revenue. You know what I mean? To generate revenue in that way, it's not eating into my personal savings, but to not make a next big move. Don't make your next thing a company. You know what I mean? Maybe the next move is to become an independent contractor and to help others do what they do while I give you your next boom. So I was like, did that mean stop doing my podcast? Did it mean stop doing? No, I don't mean stop doing that. But what I was doing immediately upon the closing and, of my company, I set up 4 or 5 different meetings with people that I had in my network just to see where they were. Well, do you need me to invest 20 grand? And then we do this? And I'm like, wait, hold on. It's not time. It's like, you have a baby, you can't just get out there. It takes time. That baby is here. You got to heal up. Your body's got to heal. You got to get your hormones back in order and all these different things. And my therapist finally told me to sit down, and she ain't say it, but she said some other words. Sit down, Steve. Like, for real. She's like, yo, sit down and shut up. And I said, do you mean like right now? She said, no, like now. I said, I got it. And she said, you have a skill set that will put money in your pocket. And even if you didn't, you still have enough to be okay. She was like, just sit down and because I'm serious. I had an LLC all prepared. LLC, business plan. I have 3 or 4. City of Inglewood wants me. My son's private school. The principal was like, yo, I want you to come be my AD. And then, of course, at the school that I'm working at, they were like, yo, whatever come out of your brain, we'll take. And we'll just make it a full-time pay for you. You don't got to be here all day. But whatever comes out of your brain, we need. And I was like, well, what does that mean? So sit down and shut up. It don't got to be some company and you start hiring people immediately. Just kind of chill. Just chill. Does that make sense? Yeah. Don't make your next thing some big company because you left because it was a company. Right. And I was like, isn't that crazy? It's like a woman who comes from an abusive family. She keeps running to these dudes that keep knocking their heads off. And she's like, it's not me. It's how I grew up. And it's not even him. It's me. I got to heal. so I can find a healthy, handsome, basketball playing man.
Oh man, 24-second shot clock. Where they can find you on social media and what your work, what people can tap into to what you're doing now.
Okay, super easy. I'm Steve at wow. Did you see that? That happened in real time. I was gonna give my ex company's stuff. You're laughing, but I'm serious. This
You
is
broke
heavy.
up with her. Now let's fix it.
It happened in real time. That's crazy.
We're gonna talk to therapists about that.
Wow. On Instagram, I am Team Hodge Hoops. That's easy to find me. I'm only in one place because I can only do one thing really well at one time. So I don't have a bunch of, as we old people call, I ain't on a bunch of internets. You can find me on Team Hodge Hoops.
I don't know old people who say that either.
Yeah,
But go
yeah.
ahead.
I don't do it. Yeah, I don't have 35 internets. I only got one internet, and that's at Instagram, Team Hodge Hoops. And the podcast, Marriage for Grown Folks. All right. If you're not that age, that's fine. But if you're into that kind of stuff, we try to tackle all things, or a lot of the things, marriage. So I'd love to see you guys there. That's also on Instagram, Marriage for Grown Folks. Marriage for Grown Folks. All right? Appreciate you.
No, man, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on the show.
This is
man.
awesome. This is therapy for me.
Yeah.
I got to go tomorrow morning, but
Yeah.
this helps too.
No, amen. Amen.
We got to get y'all on the pod too.
No, absolutely, man. Appreciate you.
Karina,
for
you're
being
awesome.
here.
Stella, you're incredible. Your staff is fantastic. They make you look good.
Wait, did you call me Stella?
She did. You don't remember
Bella.
her names. Oh, he fixed it. I was like, who is
Can you tell what I just read or what my daughter's reading right now in school?
Stella? What's that? Stella got a group? She ain't
No,
read Stella
what's
got a
one?
group back.
Stella. That's not To Kill a Mockingbird. That's one of those ones. That's what my daughter's reading. Right now.
That's all we have for you today, folks. We'll see you next time. Peace.